When you've got small kids and you're trying to run small business, standard productivity rule, they don't work. And oftentimes it's not the time you lack, but the quality energy. In this video, I share 16 tips how to stay efficient in a sustainable way, how to get things done, how to achieve your goals without killing yourself. Primarily, this video was aimed at moms or solo entrepreneurs or creative souls, someone like me. However, no matter who you are, if you experience a lot of stress at work, feel demotivated, I believe that after watching this video, you'll get yourself a couple of tools to get more productive, more energized, and proceed with your goals in a sustainable way. Hi, my name is Uma Yugen, and I am a yoga teacher with 18 years of experience. I am a wellness educator, and I'm a Montessori mom. Today, I will introduce you to a concept of soft productivity, a way to reach your goals in a sustainable way, to get to where you want to get without killing yourself along the way, taking care of your mental wellness as a first priority, and still reaching your goals. So first, let's try to figure out why it is so hard to run a business when you have small kids. Great when you have nannies or extra hands to help, but maybe you don't. And oftentimes the problem is not even the time you don't have or the money you don't own. Most of the time is the level of energy, the special level of energy that you need for your work. It's more about the productive energy, being in a state of a certain level of a certain energy to be able to work on your meaningful tasks. This energy is not only physical, it's mental and psycho-emotional. How many times have you caught yourself spending hours just flipping through your phone, trying to forget yourself in some Instagram or TikTok or watching some dumb series, just because you are so damn psycho-emotionally tired that you cannot handle anything else. So it's not the matter that you don't have time, it's the matter that you don't have energy. So one of the most important tasks for us is to make sure that we restore that level of productive energy. This is the key. So how do we do? First, less is more. I used to fill up my agenda with like 16 things to do for one day. Little emails, big things, doing reel, introducing a product, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So there would be that list of 16 items. And I've got like 3 to 4 hours of computer time a day because I also have to teach the classes and any other things with my daughter. And at any given day, I wouldn't do more than 3. That would always leave me frustrated and powerless, and I would always keep complaining that I haven't done anything. That would also put me in the mode of guilt, and this is a low emotion that brings the energy down. I would feel completely unproductive. So at the end of the day, making a list of everything I have to do just didn't work. Then I changed the strategy and I started putting on the list just a couple of things, very few. And usually the way I do it, I put one major task or 2 major tasks that must be completed that day, otherwise the world will collapse. And then I draw a line and I put a couple of small ones, something of a secondary importance for today. Tasks under the line, they're not of secondary importance. They simply are not as urgent as the other 2 above the line. So what happens is that if I don't move under the line and I achieve this 1 or 2 things above the line, I feel empowered because I have achieved my goal. But these other ones are still kind of reminders that they need to be attended anytime soon. This strategy of having less on your list makes you to feel that you have achieved your goals for the day. On the physical level, it gives you that boost of dopamine and you feel like you have achieved that goal and it really moves your energy up. And that energy is what you need to proceed, overestimate rather than underestimate. Let's say how much time it takes to produce one reel. If you want your reel really to serve the purpose and have that long play and be watched by many people, it needs to be kind of a quality one, right? So let's say you might need to research about an hour or so. Then if I take like half an hour, write the script, then another 30 minutes to shoot a video, and then to an hour of editing the video, putting things together, and then another half an hour to write the script. So that brings you to something like 4 to 6 hours. Of course, if you do those reels in a batch, that might be something like 12 hours for 3 reels. Then if you can do them much faster, well, good on you. For me, it takes time. So that's 12 hours to produce 3 reels if you have no distractions. So if you make yourself a goal to produce 3 reels a week, on the top of that, like me, you teach like number of classes, so you have other work to do. And then you also want to shoot a video for your YouTube channel, which you would also need to prepare for. And then lots of administrational work. Just put it in hours and overestimate a little bit. Then see that whole picture and then see what you can actually do. When you overestimate and then put on your plate only as much as you can handle, then there is more likelihood that you're going to achieve your goal. And when you achieve your goals, then you have a natural boost of dopamine that makes you going, that gives you energy, that keeps you motivated to carry on. Third tip, run short sprints. Running short sprints is not about your wellness. It's the technique you should use for huge projects. We used to have that advice of dividing a project in steps and subtasks and blah, 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 and then just deal with one small bite at a time. That still works, but the drawback of technique, little steps, is that when you have to climb a tall mountain and you still don't see the peak, very soon your motivation starts vanishing off. And like halfway through, or even less than halfway through, you lose your motivation to proceed, and you may even drop the project. To keep our motivation up, we need to kind of win every single day. We need to run sprints rather than a long marathon. So rather than dividing your project into small steps, divide your project into small sprints. And then that each sprint has a beginning, a start line, it has running, and it has a finish line where you get awarded finishing the task. When you have sprints, so every time you kind of start and finish, when you finish, you feel joy, woohoo, victory that you have finished that project. And there is an inner reward, again, huge wave of dopamine. I did that. Oh my God, I feel so proud of myself. And also you can externally reward yourself on the top of that. You have two rewards, internal and external. And so the thing is that this victory here for this sprint gives you a boost of energy to run that second sprint. And this way, with those little sprints, you climb to the top of the mountain of your project marathon. Seems simple, it really works. Even with this YouTube channel, with this YouTube video, that's the only way I've got to the end of it and got it published. Tip number 4, give yourself a reward. We all are creatures of pleasures. You and I. Pleasure is our driving force. We seek for pleasure. We seek for dopamine. We seek for that sensation. When you reward yourself for an achievement, not only there is an internally built-in mechanism of dopamine release when you achieve something, but you also fortify that with external pleasure. And that kind of starts building you a habit that you need to get something completed, to get something achieved, and then you also get your reward. And the reward, it's not necessarily like a chocolate. that can be something which really is meaningful to you. For instance, chill off time for 15 minutes, doing nothing. A nice massage at the end of the week. So what happens? Your brain will start looking for that pleasure you have designated for the completion of that task. Your brain will start working in such a way to get things done for you to get that pleasure at the end of the completion of the project. What I do, I have a rule of 70 to 80%. So if I have completed 70 to 80% of the task, I sort of split the reward in 2 parts, and I give myself sort of a reward when I complete the 70% of the task. Well, this is the tip number 5, 70 to 80% productivity rule, which means that if I complete 70 to 80% of the task, even if the task is not fully completed, for my inner purpose, I consider it completed and I can reward myself. So in this case, with the massage or any other reward, I have a reward twice. Once when I complete my 70 to 80%, which is already wow. And the second reward when I finish off the task, and maybe then I have like a smaller reward because I already had this kind of like prepayment of the reward. This rule of 70 to 80% also works very well when you are building a new wellness habit. Because let's agree, it's impossible for a mom on the habit tracker to have all the boxes ticked. And every time you miss the box and then you miss one and then you miss another one, you kind of really start feeling guilty and frustrated that you can't keep establishing the habit. And that inner guilt, it kind of kills your motivation, and then the next month you don't even want to start. But the rule of 70 to 80%, when you see all those boxes of your habit, it really gives you power of saying, yes, I did, because 70 to 80%, that's kind of like a pass mark in most of the exams. And actually, when I study now and I have this 70 to 80%, when I used to be a straight A's at school, it really gives me a sense of accomplishment. This is a sustainable way for me to proceed with anything that I have decided for myself. And this I count as 100% at the time being. And at the time being, this stands for me like 100%. This 80% is like 100%. When you take this attitude, it changes a lot and you really move forward. Number 6, concentrate on input goals rather than output goals. That might sound quite contradictory in traditional sense of productivity, but it gets you to your goal. What are input goals and output goals? Output goals are, for instance, I will gain 5,000 YouTube subscribers by the end of this month. That's an output goal. I will produce 4 videos throughout October and publish them on the YouTube. That's an output goal. Achieving the first goal completely does not depend on you, because you might have amazing videos, but the algorithm might work against you and you'll never get those new 5,000 followers. On the other hand, producing 4 YouTube videos, that's an amazing, ambitious goal. You never know how much research each of those videos might take, how much of post-production time you might need for extra effects or anything else, or maybe you're writing a script. You're not fully in control of the output goals. However, you're fully in control of your input goals. What are input goals? Input goals are, for instance, each single week I will spend 2 hours on my YouTube channel. And that can be lots of things. That could be studying how the tube body works, researching for the video, shooting the video, editing the video. So no matter how fast, you're still moving to your goal. And this kind of like input goal, that it's not putting too much pressure on you, because you already have lots of pressure from many other things. So having input goals reduces that pressure and gives you a little bit more joy, a sense of moving forward and finally getting to your goal. Step number 7, I choose. Studies have shown that sense of freedom and being able to choose empowers people. And we have already worked out that sometimes it's not the time we lack, it's the quality energy we don't have. Sensation of empowerment gives us boost. It lifts our energy up. It lifts our motivation and gives us strength and vitality to proceed with our goal. Close your eyes. How do you feel when you tell yourself, I have to write an article? How does it feel? And now tell yourself, I choose to write an article. I choose to write an article because I have so many great things to share. How does it feel now? I have to exercise to lose weight. I don't feel inspired to move my finger, but I choose to exercise. That sounds slightly more uplifting. Most of the time we say, I have to pick my child. I have to cook. I have to. And just phrasing things that way, I have to, puts a lot of tension and puts a lot of resistance on our brain. But whenever we say, I choose, and you may think of good reasons why you choose something, when you say, I choose, that gives you lightness. And to be truly aligned with yourself, choose a reason why you choose that. Why you choose to run and pick your kid from the daycare. It's not because you have to. There are some childcare which are like 24/7. You can shovel your child to at such a daycare, but you choose because you want to have that connection with your kid. Look behind those reasons why you truly choose and start swapping this I have to with I choose to. That will give you lightness. That was a game changer for me. I hope it will also work for you. Tip number 7, write it down. In this insane world of rushing, writing down by hand is crucial to your mental wellness. I use 3 different techniques to de-stress, structure my mind, and future. First is listing it all out. What does it mean? Oftentimes the day goes by, and at the end of the day, you tell yourself, I feel a loser, I haven't done anything. I only answered 2 emails, and kind of started working on the reel. I haven't done anything. That's the way I used to talk to myself. And then one day I took pen and paper and I literally started logging in everything I was doing. From the moment I opened my eyes till I literally closed my eye. Wow, I did a lot. Why? Because there are all these little things you automatically do on the way, which still require time and mental energy that you don't log in, and then it seems that you didn't do much. So to put the laundry in, to listen to what your child speaks, it still takes your mental energy, and you need to log it in, because psychologists get paid lots of money for what you are doing for free for your spouse and for your kid. Literally acknowledge that. So when you make that huge list of all the little to-do things, house chores, kids chores, personal grooming, cooking, and your job, you see that's a huge list. The essence of that list, for you to see the reality, for you to acknowledge how much you do, because that moment when you acknowledge that you've done that much, you feel the energy coming back. It's not that your day went by meaningless. You did a lot and you see all these things logged in. And then this list, on the other hand, helps you to find those little cracks, which bricks you can take out if you have something urgent, and where you can stick in something very important that needs to be attended to today or this week. The second technique is called bubbling down. And when I have lots of things to attend to, at this moment, I'm teaching yoga, I'm having some online products in my native language, then I'm building that YouTube channel, lots of things to do about my kid, the house chores, and future projects to come. And everything goes like a huge mess in my head. It doesn't give me peace and gets me exhausted by going on in my head. So what I do, I put each project as a bubble. For instance, I write YouTube channel, and I encircle it with a bubble. Then I put Instagram communication in my native language, and I bubble it. Teaching quality classes, and I bubble it. Administration of a studio, and I bubble it. And so this way I have something like 15 to 16 bubbles. When I put each of those projects in a kind of bubble, first good thing is I take it out from my head, and also I kind of lock it in this small house. And then I see that little village of all these bubbles on the paper. Wow, that's a lot. And actually they all have to be attended kind of simultaneously. But then I say, no, they can't. I choose one or two of those little bubbles, and this is what I concentrate on this week. It's impossible to concentrate on everything. These bubbles give you mental sanity. And it's not the same way when you make those bubbles in the computer. You have to do them by hand, because when you write it down and you encircle them with your hand, you literally take it out from your head. This gives you space, fresh air to breathe. Literally, you probably even feel how it feels. And then you have all that fresh energy to come, and you have strength and energy to proceed the project. And then the third technique for writing it down is just having a diary. Diary is very important. Head has connection to your hand. Lots of things that are unconscious in your mind, they can be made conscious by you starting writing. Sometimes there are things that we even hide from ourselves. The true reasons why we do things or why we don't do things, we hide them from ourselves. But when we start writing, at certain point, it's not that we write something what we mean, but we kind of allow the consciousness or unconsciousness from our head to run through our palm and lie on paper. It's an amazing tool to debunk everything from your head, from your heart, from your emotion, whatever you couldn't digest, rather than cramming it into your body, which will become an illness afterwards. That's psychosomatic. Just try to write it out, get it out from yourself. Also, diary is good for dreaming and planning and kind of seeing that nearest future that is here to come. Tip number 8, 1 task per day. In fact, a task group per day. So it will be less draining if you dedicate each day for certain task groups. For instance, Monday, if you are rested, you dedicate for writing long text, maybe writing scripts for your video, something that really needs a lot of attention and energy. On Tuesdays, you have an undivided half a day and you are shooting videos. Then Wednesday, maybe you're doing lots of administrational stuff, responding emails and something else. Thursday, setting up your communication on Instagram, and then Friday doing the budget or something else. So what is important is not to put more than 2 groups into a day, because each different task group requires completely different mode and completely different energy. The energy I need to speak in front of the camera is one energy. The energy I need to concentrate on writing a text, that's completely different energy. I don't need so much of quality energy to respond emails or revise corrections of my website. And when you plan 1 day, 1 task or 1 task group, then put attention on which days you kind of like feel more concentrated, when you have that deeper and higher level of mental energy, and then allocate those days to do those meaningful tasks. And having said that, don't stick to that routine, even though your body will kind of start adjusting that. On Mondays, you're writing texts, and then you have those simple days to respond emails at the end of the week. Don't stick to that, because you are higher and lower. You might have a PMS, you might go through your menopause, and you might have different levels of energy, and you may need to swap those days. And that's absolutely fine. Just stick with the rule that you dedicate certain day for certain task group, and that will actually enhance your energy level, your productivity, and the output results of whatever you do. Tip number 9, growth mindset. Growth mindset presumes that there are no mistakes and no failures, that any pitfalls along the way are actually opportunities for your growth and lessons learned that truly empowers you and kind of gives you trampoline to jump higher. Of course, you might not succeed in something from the first time. And that leaves you with the two options: to get frustrated and drop it, or research a little bit more and try another time. And actually, if you become an expert in the field, you can start sharing this knowledge. I have a notebook where I write all the so-called failures and what I had to learn to overcome that failure or problem. At the end of each month, I kind of have this notebook with things I didn't plan to learn, and then I see a list of 10 or 12 new things that I have mastered, and I kind of become more skilled person, and I don't need to ring someone up to how to fix this or that. I can do it myself. Sometimes it saves money, but it's also about that inner sense of empowerment when you learn something. If someone told me a year ago that I'll be just editing videos myself, I wouldn't believe you, because this is completely not my thing. But, well, the life gave me challenging so that I would keep growing. So next time something doesn't work out, take it as a great gift, like a little push for your further growth. That sense of achievement, that sense of I can give you a boost of dopamine, gives you energy. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Tip number 10, do hard things first. Well, that stands for like 80% of time. However, if you are a mom, this rule of do hard things first don't work. So for another 20%, I invite you, do light things first. Because when you're already in your non-productive mode, when you feel exhausted, tired, demotivated, to start doing something hard, that's in fact paralyzes you. Even the thought about it paralyzes you, and you don't feel like starting. And then you start like sharpening your pencils, washing the dishes, doing anything else but the task. So in those cases, when your energy is low, I invite you to start with very light tasks, something that either does not require any mental energy, like marking attendance, responding very simple emails, or maybe something that gives you pleasure, like studying one chapter of the course. So something that's completely light. And when you start, the way appears when you start walking. So when you start with those light tasks and you feel sense of achievement with each little thing cleared off your list, the motivation for the bigger tasks might come along the way. So at the days when you're really tired, don't start with hard things. Tip number 12, great enjoy. In a little bit of play of words, it's great enjoy and also enjoy what you are doing. I know there are lots of tasks that you don't enjoy. How about you couple those tasks that you don't enjoy with something you enjoy? Let's say if you have to do a really boring task, maybe you can spoil yourself with delicious matcha latte. Now, assume you need to respond like emails which are completely boring, no joy about this task. But once you think that by responding that email, you can become a magician that changes the person's day, and that gives light to that person, whatever the answer is, think of what kind of quotes you can put into the email, or how you can enlighten the day of the person. For instance, if you know that person, maybe you can compliment him or her on something, so that your email which you send out to that person has so much sunshine that spreads the joy around. Being a magician for someone, to enlightening someone's day, gives you so much inner energy and joy. Just try it. It truly lifts your spirits up. And that brings you to tip number 13, the perspective and meaning you give to things. Oftentimes the grass is greener behind your neighbor's fence. Sometimes I'm out opening in, or because everyone seems so successful and achieving. And then I have to remind myself why I've chosen that kind of lifestyle, that flexible and yet financially unpredictable schedule. That because I am an introvert, I value freedom, I want to move more, and I struggle with tasks being imposed on me. And that gives me mental and physical wellness, albeit doesn't give me financial security. But this is the thing I chose. In his book, A Man's Search for Living, Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, wrote, albeit we cannot change our circumstances, we can empower ourselves with the meaning we assign to these circumstances. Oftentimes, all this endless cleaning, cooking, washing, it seems so meaningless comparatively to the fact that you could write a book, you could make these beautiful videos. But if you change the meaning you assign to all this cooking and all this cleaning, that becomes game changer. You are raising a human being. Yes, you are raising a human being. And the human beings, unfortunately, don't grow the way the trees grow. They need a lot of maintenance, they need a lot of care, they need a lot of warmth, they need a lot of attention, they need guidance. Yes, they need food, shelter, on all those things. And you're raising a human being, and when you change your perspective in your daily cooking and cleaning, that you are raising a human being who may be the one who will be making that planet a better place to live for manhood, then everything that you do on the daily basis starts getting meaning, and then you start getting energy. Because the tasks you do, even at that time, they might seem so tiring and so boring, they start carrying meaning. The tip number 14 is keep learning. Learning gives you energy. Also, with the online learning that is available nowadays, that's an amazing opportunity to interact with people. It's not only the knowledge you are getting from all your teachers, it's also the energy to create, the energy to act. It really empowers. So sometimes when you don't have time and you feel low and you feel unproductive, just close everything off for 20 to 30 minutes and go to one of the courses you have purchased yesterday or a long time ago and start studying. These 20 minutes will incredibly change the way your brain works, your level of energy, and again, your motivation to proceed with whatever you have to proceed. Tip number 15, take care of your wellness. Your productivity, your vitality, everything rests on the pillar of your physical, mental, and emotional wellness. You've got to eat well, you've got to sleep, you've got to do a little bit of exercise every single day. And if you prioritize other things, you will keep failing every day more and more. In yoga, we have this term asteya. It means that we shouldn't steal. And people sometimes take it literally. Yeah, I don't steal. But it's not only stealing from the shop or stealing from other people. It also implies stealing from yourself. And what I have noticed, myself inclusively, we are oftentimes steal our time from our future. I want to tell you a painful truth. 1 hour you steal from your sleep to work now steals you 2 or 5 healthy days from the life which is to come. If you don't sleep 1 hour, you think, oh, I've gained 1 extra hour for my work. How amazing is that? But this 1 hour, it kind of starts a process of aging, deteriorate your neural cells, your hormones, and so on and so forth, that eventually this 1 hour steals you a couple of days of a healthy life down the line. And then it's crucial to have at least 15 minutes of daily stretching, especially if you are sitting in your office. And the stretching is not only about stretching your back. You need to stretch and open your chest, because here we have lungs, and if you don't have your body stretched, the lungs, they become kind of like a swamp, and the air doesn't circulate properly, and you get all the illnesses. Then if you don't stretch the body organs, they don't have enough space to function properly. You also get all the muscle tensions here and there. You get the disc slips and all this, you just name it. You've got to stretch. I know it's very hard to establish a habit of daily stretching. That's why I created 4 short routines. They are from 12 to 20 minutes in length. Very simple, but very effective. If you don't really have time, 12 minutes is something amazing that you can start and you can carry on with. And for you to start today, not to postpone, I give you a special discount of 20%. You will find the promo code Soft Productivity and also the link where you can get those effective stretching routines down in the video description. So don't wait, just grab and start and feel how the energy is coming back. For thousands of people, it already changed the life, and I hope it also be a great start for you. And then the last tip, oftentimes you can't fall asleep, not because of the hormones or screens. You don't feel asleep at night because your mind is making itself time to be in silence and solitude with yourself. If you don't consciously do that special time of 10 to 15 minutes to have silence and date with yourself, your mind will make that time during the night. You need consciously make time every day without scrolling, without doing something. 10 to 15 minutes just to be in silence and solitude with yourself. So my video is coming to an end, but I hope that's only a beginning of our journey together. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, check out for all the gifts I have for you in the description below, and also leave comments which techniques you use to survive as a mom or solo entrepreneur in your daily life, or also what of those tips that I have offered you are already using or you're going to try on. I just want to remind you, if you're super busy and you don't have much time or motivation to work out, just get my short stretching routines from 12 to 20 minutes with a special 20% discount for you, and start today. In less than a month, your body will open and you will feel much more energized than you are today. And another gift is a 15% discount for Do Fashion. Follow that affiliate link down below, and with the code and the description, you have 15% discount. And the good thing is, if you are a woman and you have a daughter, so you can both get the same pants, and that's really cute. And the last thing, if you feel stressed or stuck and you need a direction, you can book an inner discovery session with me to detangle your thoughts, to find more purpose, to find direction. People say that these sessions are really game changers. Otherwise, you can explore more on my website or my Yugen call, or follow me on Instagram. See you in other videos.